the root of all your problems. To be honest with you, a lot of us think that we have a lot of problems in our life, right? Self-doubt, perfectionism, caring too much about what other people think, not having enough resources, all the above, right, can be factored down to one thing. The root of all your problem is you do not feel as if you are enough. The root of all your problems is you do not feel as if you're enough. The greatest thing about problems and just solving issues in life is they could always be filed down to one of a few things. And for most of our problems, they stem from not feeling as if we are or desiring to be enough. So when God created you, right, He created you and He promised, the only thing He promised you is death, correct? And you'll die the same way you're born. Naked, with nothing. None of your worldly possessions or resources will be with you. However, when we're born into this world, and the system in which we're born into positions things upside down. It positions things in a manner where He says, okay, now you're born, you are nothing, you've got to work your way up and attain some sort of value. So when you're born into this world, you sort of quickly learn to understand by the laws of capitalism that you have nothing and quote unquote are nothing. Therefore, you must build your value through attaining skills and exchanging your value then for money. So, and then oftentimes we get lost in the source and then we start to believe, not oftentimes, 99.9% of the time, we get lost in the source and start to believe that most of our value is based on our ability to attain the resource, quote unquote, money. And then we scrutinize ourselves. Yeah. We try to be perfect. We doubt our own abilities. We doubt our God-given gifts. All because we don't have money. All because we deem ourselves unable to make money. But it's not even money that you desire, but the feeling attached to, the feeling you assign to making money. The security you assign to having it. And having it in plentiful and abundance. And I understand that, you know what I mean? Everybody has rent to pay. Everybody has bills and things that they need to pay and a living that they need to sort of make for themselves. But the problem is we so heavily identify with the resources and the things that we desire, right? That when we are in a slight lack of resource, we start to panic and we start to question our whole existence. But although you have bills to pay and rent to pay, when you die, all of that disappears. And even if you have plenty of money, you don't take any of that with you. The idea is not somebody to tell you stop worrying about money or to not go and pursue making money. No, it is in fact a requirement for you to go do so. But it's the meaning you assign to it and the attachment in which you have to it that allows you to feel as if you're not enough. The root of all your problems aren't the absence of what it is that you desire, but the fact that its absence allows you to believe that you are not enough, or you do not feel as if you are enough. So the root of all your problems is the problem of not feeling enough, enoughness, the lack of. And you can come back to the understanding that you are enough by coming back to the understanding of what God teaches. When God created you, He only promised you one thing, death. If you leave this earth with the same things you came in with, nothing, naked, right? That would imply that you already have everything that you needed. You would already imply that you would have had everything that you already needed, which is yourself, and that's it. You know, one of the most difficult concepts for people to grasp is God's going to provide for them, or that the source, being connected to the source, is what provides for them. Do the animals, do the cows, do the sheep wake up and think, how am I going to eat and survive today? No. God has created plentiful for them to enjoy and eat. Right? Do the fish wake up in the sea and say, how am I going to survive today? No, they don't. Because they understand that their Lord will provide enough for them to survive. Yet why is it that we find do not have the same trust in our Creator that all his other species do have. And it's one of a few things. The people in charge of creating the system that imprisons our mind are much more intelligent with the way our mind works and have a better understanding of it, right? So they pose certain ideas to us, yeah? Create societies and understand that we find worth in our ability to belong in bigger groups of people. Therefore, we adopt these values and beliefs, and we feel like an idiot if we stand out or have an opinion or a belief that imposes what the majority thinks. I made a video a long time ago, is everything was on the side of being an individual. Because part of how people get controlled or have a life experience that they don't like is when they're too busy assigning themselves to the social groups that they belong to, or the cultural groups that they belong to, or any form of society group in which they heavily identify with. But the root of all your problems is the feeling of enoughness. Perfectionism is the feeling of you thinking that you have to be a perfect. Why? Because deep down inside you don't feel enough. The fear of failure, it is you're fearing failing. Why? Because you don't feel as if you are enough to attain what it is that you want. Self-doubt, you just don't feel as if you are enough in order to pursue what it is you want to pursue. Desire for more money, you just do not feel as if you are secure and enough. Or the root of all your problems are the root of feeling a lack of enoughness. In fact, you don't even want what it is that you're desiring. What you want is the feeling on the other side of it. You want money to feel secure. You want a partner to feel loved. You want success to feel as if you are enough. But you can give every single one of those emotions to yourself before the actual thing appears. And that's what basically manifestation is. I'm not a manifestation coach. I'll let you know that. But I understand the concept of it. If you can sit down and imagine what the emotion feels like, your brain will release the exact same chemicals as that feeling as when the thing is in front of you. And then at some point, you can stay in that thought and emotion long enough till you no longer need to receive that thing that you are so attached to. It is not what it is that you're attached to or you think you need, but it's the feeling on the other side of it. It's how you attain the feeling is through your imagination. And if you can hold on to that feeling long enough, you no longer desire to physically, in your reality, see what it is that you think you want. That thing will appear. That thing will appear right in front of you. And that's the whole concept of manifestation. I'm not here to teach you manifestation. I'm here to teach you the concept of enoughness. To feel as if you're enough is to pose to yourself the simple question. Why is it you feel as if you are not enough? Why is it you need more? The constant addition to the self to feel as if you are enough. This is a lie sold to you by the people who created the system that imprisons you in your own mind. But it's to understand that any more of something that you already have cannot make you feel more enough than you feel now. But God has created you as enough. Yet you still have this strong sense of lack of, the constant searching for more. It's a lie that's been sold to you. You're enough as you are. But imagine if you were on the other side. Imagine as if you operated life by already feeling as if you were enough. Everything then is then complementary to your human experience. And if everything is complementary, means you have no attachment to it. And in this life, every human being has experienced it. The things that you really want, you never get. But the things that you're indifferent about, you always receive. And that's how you get to a place of indifference. And that's how you, quote unquote, manifest everything that you want. To reach that place of indifference is to believe as if you are enough. And when you believe as if you are enough, every experience and everything you attain is complementary to your existence. So the root of all your problems is feeling as if you are enough, and you can attain feeling as if you are enough simply by understanding that you are sitting with that, being at peace with that, and not having too much of an attachment to anything. Therefore, all things manifest for you. But to reach that stage, a lot of people are like, it's going to take so much work. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it's simple. You just have to sit with yourself long enough until you are no longer in doubt of being enough. Any more what you already have will not make you feel any more enough than you feel right now. God's greatest gift to man is the ability to be content. So find contentness in that which you already have, and do not desire to acquire anymore. Because it's that attachment to wanting more that creates your misery and the lack of. So the root of all your problems is the feeling of not feeling enough. And you can feel as if you're enough by sitting with yourself long enough and understanding that you don't need any more than you have right now, and residing in God. So once you reside in yourself, you're basically residing in God. And the God that provides for every species and being who is alive in this world is the same one that will provide for you. And understand the things that you think you want, you don't want that, but the feeling attached to on the other side. And you can access this feeling through your imagination. And if you can access the feeling through your imagination long enough till you no longer desire to see in your reality, that's exactly when you manifest everything that you desire and want. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next video.